How you doing, Mike?
Luca, what's good, man?
How are you? I like that lid.
You like that?
Crispy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I try to look good, feel good, play good, right?
Oh yeah. That's all it's about.
How's Plumeri looking for tomorrow?
Our volley Gio was putting in work, man. He was getting that thing ready. So it's getting there. It's definitely got some water for sure, but we'll be good. We'll be
Looks
good.
like looks like it's supposed to be a little chilly too.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a little nippy, but boys will bundle up. We'll be all right. So yeah. Yeah.
What's up?
What's up,
Tap.
Skip? How you doing?
You'd think I'd know how to use Zoom by now, but still
It's
struggling
tough.
with that.
It's tough.
What's up, Michael?
Not much. How's it going?
It's good, man. I heard you moved.
I did.
You moved to one of the greatest places on earth. Oh, you muted yourself, or Triggs muted you.
I
He
hope
could
I
have.
didn't.
He could have. No, that's why it was an easy sell after visiting
Yeah,
times.
yeah,
How
that's good.
how you feeling about this weekend?
Uh, in terms of getting the games in, or in terms of how we're gonna play?
That's in what we can control.
Yeah. Uh, I think we'll be okay. We've got some injuries that I'm a little concerned about, but and it's a pretty old Rhode Island team, so it'll be interesting to see what they're like. I think probably one of my biggest weaknesses as a coach is giving other teams too much credit. So we'll see how it goes.
Better than the opposite.
Yeah, I'm definitely not one to sell, especially in northern teams, sell short on opening weekend because anything can happen.
Hey, Katz, is this a new place? Congratulations on moving in.
Yeah. Thank you. It's still pretty empty. Might hear some echoes.
All right. So yeah, I think we're good to get going. Wanted to thank you guys all for hopping on this call and just wanted to make sure it's okay with everyone. We're gonna record it and then that way some people are like, I can't make it, but would love to hear what's said and what goes on. So just wanted to give everyone a heads up on that. But really appreciate you guys joining and hope this is fun and informative and great. Everyone gets to meet Coach McCoy. So I'll let him take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Triggs. Thanks for setting this up. I think this is a really good example of this venture is a really good example of how I see this going about from a alumni outreach standpoint and just availability standpoint. Um, you know, I view sort of my role as a head coach sort of as I don't want to say I'm a program builder, but I feel like that's kind of the way I approach things. And, from top to bottom, I want to make sure that there's a way that we're going to go about, building this program as a whole. It's definitely not, for me, it's not I don't look at this as a stepping stone. I mean, I was at Niagara 16 years. If that's not, loyalty, I don't know what is. But so I'm kind of going to approach this the same way. And so in talking to Triggs, a lot of what we have to do here from the sounds of it is from the ground up rebuild alumni relations and our efforts to reconnect alumni to the program. Oh, that would be bad news. No injuries, no injury reports. But just a way for us to connect. And so, because the way I look at it is, especially coming into this program, this is your guys' program. I'm renting it for however long I'm here, and I want to do right by it. And I want to make sure that we're doing things the right way. And one of those right way things to me is to start from the ground up and make sure that we get alumni engaged as much as possible. And this is an effort to do that. So I don't know. What do we say, Triggs? We're going to do this maybe once a month during the season, and then every 2 weeks, once a month will be a newsletter. So you guys, if you're engaged and you want information, you should be receiving information every 2 weeks from us, which will be, a pretty good step for, getting the word out there. And who knows, maybe next time we do this, we get twice as many guys and then 3 times as many guys. And then just the word spread, you guys talk amongst yourselves, we make plans, we do all that kind of stuff. And I think really just getting the word out there on some of the things that we're doing and why and how I think will be a really big step. So I'm glad you guys could join us. I would have been happy with one person, but this is a great start. So yeah, Triggs has got some questions. I'm happy to answer. I do have a tendency to say too much, so I'm going to temper most of what I say. So I'll try to give you the goods on how everything's going, without you know without this making ESPN or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can, I had some questions in case no one had questions, but guys, feel free to just like popcorn, questions that you have for Coach McCoy, and we really want to make this about, being totally transparent and allowing you guys to ask the questions that you have and really get to know him. I feel like a good place to start might be, obviously we got Rhode Island tomorrow, and maybe Coach, can you go over a little bit of how we're looking for the weekend, and maybe a couple guys that you think are going to be real standout and backbone dudes for us.
Yeah, so I think we're in good shape for the weekend. I don't know how many games we're going to play, but we've got our pitching pretty lined up. We're going to start. So tomorrow we're going to start Zach Potts, who's a sixth year grad for us. And then if everything were to go perfectly, Saturday we would start Reed Donato, and Sunday we would start Ryan Fesco. So Fesco is a Davidson grad transfer. And then our two top guys in the bullpen would be Lovaz and Pierce. And then we've got some other guys that are sort of emerging in roles that we create. So from a pitching standpoint, you're going to see more a traditional style of running the bullpen. We'll have starters that in some cases, like Reed, is more of an opener, I guess you would say. He's incredibly talented. And sometimes it goes super well and sometimes it doesn't. And so we're going to try to capitalize on when it does. And so that's kind of why we're doing that. And then we'll have a couple jam guys or bridge guys, whatever you want to call them. And then, hopefully towards the end of the game, we have the lead and we pitch Lovaz or Pierce. And that's kind of the system I used at Niagara in the last 2 years. We were 48-1 and when leading after 7 innings. So it's basically trying to win the games that we're ahead, and that's the goal behind that. So we're set up pretty well pitching wise. Offensively, I really like our lineup. Um, we're gonna have a couple freshmen in there this weekend, and it's gonna be really exciting. The defense could get a little dicey. There's some young guys there, and we've had some injuries. So I think what Triggs, we actually have 3 healthy infielders other than first baseman. So they're going to play a lot, and we're just going to deal with it. So I think the team is in a good spot. We've worked a ton this fall on just kind of revamping the sort of the approach to games that I want them to have, which is not an easy task considering that I don't think that you could find 2 different people between me and Mike McCray. So I know where he comes from. I coached against him a ton, and we're completely opposite people. So the guys have had to kind of get used to, at least the returners have kind of get used to the differences between the two of us. And and how, how they're going to be treated the same or differently with me versus him, and what my expectations are during the games and those kind of things. So I think we're ready to go out there, and we've played a lot. We're ready to go out there and play someone with a different jersey on. So I would expect them to have some energy and maybe too much, so I'll try to back them off a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited about the weekend and I think we stack up pretty good. I think it's going to be a battle of depth, really. I mean, Rhode Island's going to be super good. They're high-end guys, but it's probably going to come down to depth if we play 3 games.
Cool, cool. And then I guess another question or thing I think would be good to talk about a little bit is kind of your vision for the program and for the future, the next year, couple years, 5+ years,
Mhm.
what that vision is and how you're building that.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we have to build is a culture. So the first 2 years, this year and next, I'm going to be solely focused on making sure that we play the game the right way and we have the right thoughts about the game and instilling our mental game stuff that we work on and our core values and things like that. And just overall how to approach, how what it's going to be like to be a William and Mary baseball player. Um, what I honestly got to be honest with you. I don't know what kind of results. We're not going to probably not going to be as good. If I'm being completely honest with you, we're probably not going to be as good this year as we have been in the last couple of years, just simply because we've lost the high end arms to the draft and didn't replace those guys. So that is what it is. We're going to work to do that. And then next year, we're making the decision to go young. We're going to build around the young players that we have on the team. We've recruited a bunch of really talented incoming high school kids, guys that have been dropped from Power Four schools because of this roster size limit thing. So, like we've got a Virginia Tech kid that decommitted that we picked up. We have the number one ranked catcher in the state of Virginia in 2025 that we picked up because he was committed to a school, decommitted, and then wanted to go Power Four, but then there's roster logs, so he chose to come to William and Mary. So like we're really excited about the recruits we're getting in. But what we need to do is we need to create a culture that people want to be a part of, not just to play baseball and not just to go to school, but to go to school and play baseball at a super high level. And if we do that the right way, then our players will be our best recruiters. So not only will we go out and recruit, but our players will go out to their indoor facilities, to their summer ball teams, and we'll pick up these one-off transfers and we'll pick up these guys that, went to high school with a kid that's on our team that the kid says, you got to go play there. It's a phenomenal coaching staff, phenomenal facilities. It's a great school and we've really got a direction that we're headed. And I think if you want, so you spend a couple years establishing that, we're going to be young next year, and then 2, 3 years, like year 3 is when we'll have sophomores and juniors and ready to go. And we'll one off, like I said, we'll fill in with transfers here or there. I mean, I think we have 3 or 4 transfers ready for next year. Um, but we really want to build around kids that come from high school that bleed green and gold, and much like some of you guys, and just get that. I just don't think it's long-term sustainable to get grad transfers that have 1 year. Definitely need to get them because they're really talented and they can really help you. But it can't be a yearly turnover thing that we have, in my opinion. If we want to get the culture to where we want to get it to. So that would be my 3 year plan. I don't like again, I'm not really worried about the results as much as I'm sure fans are and alums want to see us continue to win at the level that we've been winning. But we might have to take a step back to get to where we really want to get to. So that's going to be the approach.
Yeah. And you touched upon this, coach, but can you talk about those core values that the team you've brought to the team and that they have embodied throughout their time, here?
Yeah, so it's a little cliche, and as you guys know, you're probably in the business world, like you have to have the acronym, and our acronym is TRIBE. It's trust, resiliency, integrity, belief, and excellence. And for me, that those embody the things that you would want your team who, some of you guys have been to the pinnacle here, and maybe you've done it, maybe you did it similarly, or maybe the coaches you played for did it a different way. But at the end of 4 years, a kid should be able to write on a note card exactly what we stood for. Um, what did you guys stand for? Where was the direction you were headed? What standard were you held to? It can't just be a mumble jumble thing where it's like, hey, just get the 34 best players and put them out there and hopefully, it works out for you. I just don't agree with that. Um, so the trust for me is like trust your teammates and your coaches. It's not a one me against you thing as a player. The competition isn't good, healthy competition in the fall and competing and making you better and learning how to compete. But, trusting coaches and a whole new staff that you don't know, and, trusting that the things that we're doing and we're bringing we're doing the right things. And even when it looks like we're not, even when it looks like things are hard or challenging, we're still, we still have to trust it. And then the resiliency is like more of a grit. It's a resiliency, like as you guys know, it's simultaneously the most fun experience you'll ever have in your life, but also the most challenging. So can you have resiliency and grit in the face of any challenge you have? And in most cases, we talk more about, you know, not just dealing with adversity, but wanting it, being eager for the adversity because we're prepared for it and we've talked about it and we've worked on strategies to deal with it. And integrity speaks for itself. And the belief is, anytime we have no holdovers from the teams that made the regionals and some of you guys were on. So inevitably you come in and you have to get them to believe something's possible that they've never seen or never experienced. And so when we talk about, you know, you have to believe it before you see it. If you don't believe it's possible, then it's definitely not going to be possible. So we talk about the belief that it's going to take to achieve what we want to achieve, not just one time, but a long-term, sustained, successful situation. And then excellence is just doing your best in all areas, which is you would think would be assumed, but it's just a good reminder for everybody that comes into the program that that's the expectation that's going to be set is how we do anything is how we do everything. So we need to make sure that we're checking the boxes the way we should be.
Nice. Nice. Another question I had written down, there were some new things around the field in terms of upgrades, and I was wondering if you just wanted to talk about those, Skip, and how they'll be, helpful for the guys and help them improve.
Yeah, so we got new netting because I guess some woman got smoked at the East Carolina game last year. So we've got it, which is actually cool for the people who pay for the expensive seats because now behind home plate you can barely even see the net. It's not like that big thick netting that was there for 2 decades. Um, so that's gone and it's replaced. But the problem is that the open areas where there weren't nets, now there's netting there and way too many poles. So it's exciting. I always say if you want everybody to like you, it's sell ice cream. And so half the people that used to go to the games are going to be pumped about not having to look through the screen, and the other half are going to be um, they're going to have to look through it. But it really does add another level to this park because it kind of takes that eyesore away from everything. Um, we added the Aware camera system, and if you guys may not be in tune to that, but it's basically, I mean, it's like fivefold helps us. It's 12, we got 12 cameras installed around the field, and so it got its start in player development. So what it does is if like say you're practicing and you're hitting on the field, you can tag the swings and then it uses AI to clip those. When you tag it, it clips it and then it sends it to the kids like a folder in an app that the kids have on their phones. So if you're playing a game, you can either chart it in real time with an iPad or you can go back and input the TrackMan data and then what it does the same thing. AI clips each pitch from all 12 camera angles and it puts each pitch that you participate into your folder on an app on your phone. So a kid like you could have an at bat and go into the clubhouse 45 seconds later, and every pitch from your at bat is on your phone. Um, it's huge for player development, especially when you're inter squatting or taking swings or anything like that. I think one of the most underutilized tools is just and because of logistics is video. I don't know how much video you guys when you played you had access to, but my goal is that these kids don't have a practice where they don't see what they looked like in that practice. Just because I think, the best coaches that you have are you most of the time. And we could tell you till you're blue in the face, but then we tell you and then you go look at it and you're like, oh, okay, I see what those guys are talking about. So it's a huge tool that Brian Mann greenlighted. We're super happy that he did, but also the other benefit is that we can use instant replay with it. So now I'm not going to get, the umps aren't going to drive me crazy. So we can look at every play from several different cameras, of those cameras. And there's two, I'm trying to remember there's two in center field. One is the Major League Baseball view. One is focused on second base for reviews. There's two behind home plate. One is the all 22 if you guys are football fans. So it's all nine. And then one of them is a low home. So it focuses on you can see like the pitch coming in, but you can also see plays at the plate. And then there's open left hitter, open right pitcher, third base side of the infield. Then there's open right, open left hitter, pitcher, and then right side of the infield. And then there's two cameras on the poles that look down each foul line for fair and foul once you get past the bag. Yes, Mike.
Um, are we going to have every game on Flow Sports or just a select number?
So that is a tremendous bone of contention for me that right now this year the plan is to have just the conference games on Flow, which drives me insane. Because I tell Pete Clausen, I said, look, we got every game broadcast at Niagara, every single game. I don't know why that's not possible at a school like William and Mary. So that is something that I'm going to adamantly work on. But right now it's just the conference games, unfortunately. Now there is a way that we're going to, and I don't know if Flow, so I think Flow has sole rights of the broadcasting. So I don't know, like there is a way to share the feed to the cameras that we have at the field to watch, like it's called Aware Air TV or something like that. So if there's any way that I can weasel into that and disseminate that, I will try to do that. But right now the plan is just conference games, unfortunately.
And that's like a Flow Sports CAA, like William and Mary deal. Like our
It is.
schools
It's
have the
a
same thing too, where they
It's
do
just I mean, I don't know if there's other conferences that do it, but it's the conference's deal with Flow Sports.
gotcha. All
It's
right,
yeah, it's pretty aggravating, honestly.
we'll get
As I'm sure you know, like how do you play, Rhode Island's here. I was talking to them after they were practicing on the field and they're like, you know, it's 2025. How are the games not streamed on the internet somehow? And I agree. So that'll probably get me in trouble, but I'll that's one thing that I'll get in trouble about is because that bothers me that we don't have access for people to watch anytime they want.
yeah. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're definitely working on that. And one thing so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to them with, like my line is, don't tell me no, tell me how. And if the how is reasonable, then we can try to do the how. And if there's any how that anybody can help with, I'll be sure to spread that around.
Nice. Guess another question I had, and guys, feel free to keep like Mike, just raise a hand or just start talking, whatever. But do you have a trip this year, coach, that you're most excited about, or an opponent that we're playing that you're most fired up to square off against?
Um, Not really. No, I mean, I've never been to East Carolina, so that's something like we're going to Kansas State. I've been out there before, and it's a fun trip. I think the guys will like it just because it's different than being at home all the time. That was one of the reasons why I added that trip. Was it's not necessarily a smart idea as a coach to do that, but to play a super regional team halfway across the country. But at the same time, like I think that's good for the guys. I think getting them an experience that they'll never forget, and that stuff was always important to me at Niagara, and so I think they'll enjoy that. But yeah, I'll probably enjoy the East Carolina weekend. I've never been there, and I've heard great things. I've seen it on TV a lot. But I was in the CA in 2006, the spring of '06 with JMU, and so I've been to almost all the Virginia schools and the CA, the CA schools and things like that. So there's nothing really that stands out.
Nice, nice,
Do we
cool.
have any '06 William and Mary guys on the call? Oh, I was just going to talk some smack because I'm 3-0 at Plumeri already.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindemuth, did you went to the best Virginia camps? Did I like I didn't recruit you, but you were at the best in Virginia camps and I saw you when you were a high school kid, right?
was a long time ago.
Yeah, I thought so. And then I saw you went here. I was like,
Where would you have recruited me from? Where were you
no,
at?
I don't. Well, see, that's the thing. I don't think I recruited you, but I think I was there at those camps.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. It was probably at Niagara because I was at JMU one year and then went to Niagara.
I didn't get any offers from Niagara.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have said yes. So that was strategic, man.
Yeah, that all works out.
Yeah.
I guess another thing, Skip, that
Sorry to interrupt. Everything's on the table, guys. I'll tell you if I don't want to answer it, but this call, that's what this call is for. So if you've got something you're wondering, no matter how controversial it may be, I'll answer it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll jump in on that, Coach. Will's out here.
I'm going after you, Will.
Okay, great.
Okay,
So,
Willie. So Willie, before that, you have to tell me like what years you were here, that kind of
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, so I was a transfer JUCO guy. I got onto campus in 2013.
Okay.
Red shirt senior year. I was out of there at 2015. So a lot of my teammates on the call here. I missed the front portion, so if you said any of these things, I apologize in advance. But one of the issues that I think we found with the previous coach was the support from the athletic department.
Mhm.
A lot of issues with funding, a lot of issues with which bucket the money had to go into in order to get to something. Because of the funding situation, we weren't able to go on premier trips that I got to experience. A lot of the guys on the call got to experience going to an SEC school, playing,
Yeah.
getting paid to go get our ass kicked, so to speak. Um,
And there.
but I guess one of the things that's since you've come aboard, has anything changed in the relationship with the athletic department? Are they shrinking that budget consistently? Are they handcuffing you? Generally speaking, what does it look like right now?
I think every situation you're in, it's the eye of the beholder, right? Like I don't. Here's how I would answer that question. Is it great? Nope, it's not great. Does it bother me at all? It doesn't bother me at all how things are run here. And I've always found more success in killing people with kindness. And so they're not getting worse, I can tell you that. In fact, I will say that Brian Mann definitely wants us to be one of the premier teams on campus. I think but that's part of a larger picture of what the athletic department is going to like, how the athletic department is going to carry us forward. There is a lot of steam, smoke, or whatever you want to call it, behind. Like, I think President Rowe and the board are kind of figuring out that maybe we could leverage athletics because we need more of a national name. Um, and those are things that have been talked about in the last 3 months. So has that had any like traction with us immediately? No, but long term, I think that's a good sign. There's nothing stopping us from going on those trips. There's nothing stopping us from succeeding with what we have. it's not, our budget is not great, but it's not prohibitive, if you will. So I think it gets a little, I think you get in the weeds a little bit with fundraising. I will say that. You know, I think the misconception that the previous coach was harping on was that if you give us money, we don't get to just spend it. Like it doesn't come straight to us. But the reason it doesn't is because it's given to us on the front end, right? So the money, a lot of this money comes from the foundation, and then when we fundraise, we have to pay the foundation back. But it's a way better situation than if we just went out and just flat out had to fundraise for that amount of money, because I don't think we would fundraise that much. I don't think that would be a reasonable thing. So that's kind of a long-winded answer to your question, but I like you're not going to catch me talking about like how that's going to keep us from moving this program forward, because I don't believe that. Ryan, what did you have? Same thing?
No, I was going to ask just about, I felt like we were on like a quarterly shareholders meeting at the beginning where you're kind of tempering our expectations for the, for the season here. But I guess the question I would ask is how do you think the team is feeling about, the season ahead? Obviously, you know, as alumni, we want them to win and want to win now, right?
Hmm.
That's how everybody feels. So, how do you think the team feels about the outlook? And just as you're rebuilding the culture, obviously, there's no freebie seasons like these. They all matter, right? So,
Yeah.
tell us about how the team's feeling.
Yeah, I think so. You could ask Triggs. He's probably, if I say something opposite of what he's hearing, because he's closer to the players, but I think they're in a great mood, and I think morale is at an all-time high. By no means, yeah, maybe I am tempering expert. What it's under promise, over deliver is the line, but it, by no means do I say, me being honest about what's in front of us, am I, trying to temper expectations about what we can do? On paper, we're not as good, but from a morale perspective, we're light years ahead of where they were in the past. And so we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out how much morale matters, right? Like, I think it matters a ton, but you know, tomorrow we get punched in the face, and we're gonna find out like how we withstand the morale. So that's why I'm kind of being real with you guys about what my vision is and what my expectations are, because part of it is our roster just is not in the condition that I think it should be. So that's just a fact. But from a morale standpoint, from a buy-in standpoint, from the guys like playing loose and free and ready to go, like I'm incredibly happy with where they're at right now.
Yeah, I
Truly.
know I could speak for when, I was there. We had some really talented teams at the beginning of my career, and our,
Hmm.
our culture sucked.
Yeah.
And we had some really talented teams with really good culture, and
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's where it gets exciting.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna have a fairly talented team with a good culture right now. And then our goal is to turn that into a really talented team with a good culture. Mhm. We will have a good culture. Like I'm not, I am, that's why I'm intentional about it. I toiled for, I mean, you guys saw it when I was hired. You were like, how the hell do you hire a guy with 450 career losses? Well, each one of those losses was a lesson. And I toiled for a long time until I figured out how I wanted to create a culture and move forward with it. And it's going to work here. I have zero doubts about that. So our culture will be good. And the idea is that the high end recruits will follow that culture.
Cool.
Because when I'm in a recruiting meeting now, this is how it, and maybe this would resonate with you guys. So the assistants take the kid around, they do all that thing, they show him everything, and then I sit with this kid in a room and his parents. I say, look, I am not going to talk you into coming here. I'm going to try to talk you out of it. Because if I can talk you out of it, if I can tell you everything we do and everything that's required of you and all the stuff that you're going to have, all the stuff you're going to have to endure and all that stuff, if I can talk you out of coming here, then I've done my job because we have to have people here that I can't talk out of it. And if we get enough of those guys, then and if you say yes because you get fired up about it and it gets you going and you're like, yes, I want to be the best of the best, I want to be challenged, then every kid that's on this team is going to be just like you when you get here because I will weed the other ones out. And that usually works really well to getting kids to buy into what's to come when they get on campus. And the only way I can say that with confidence is by holding everyone that is currently here to that standard and to that culture.
Nice. Yeah, I think that was great. And I think the buy-in's been excellent and the guys they're fired up and they're excited to get after it. Um
Yeah, the offense. We got to take the brakes off the offense, guys. Like, I mean, it's been crazy, but our offense is, I mean, maybe it won't be not better number wise, but I feel like it's going to be a lot more fun to watch. There's going to be a lot fewer tappers to third. I can tell you that for free. Sorry, Triggs, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. Um, I was wondering too, we can also, open it up to you guys in terms of, are there things that and I've talked with a lot of you about this, but are there certain things that you think, we should be doing to kind of help bridge the gap? What sort of things do you think um would be good and helpful for you guys?
Yeah, so there was some stuff. So alumni weekend, I think we're going to have Elon. So you look that up. That's April 5th, 4th, 5th, 6th, something like that. And then there's going to be a question about the golf tournament, inevitably, which I think that's a really good thing to do. But golf tournaments are a lot of work for not much ROI. So I think, we talked with Michael early on about this that our primary get together fundraiser will be our first pitch dinner. We had 180 people at that. It was a phenomenal event. It's only going to get better as we run it, and we can still pop these golf tournaments up or these golf outings up. It's just they're probably not going to be fundraising based. They're just going to be alumni relations based, like connecting fellowship stuff like that. And I was thinking like personally, I would love to have one. I would love to have a get together on homecoming weekend every year, and I would love to have a get together our own spring alumni weekend in the spring. And then obviously the first pitch dinner in the winter in January. So those would be like the three spread out throughout the year. And then anything in addition to that, if you guys, I've told, Todd, who's been fundraising, these people, I said, look, get me, get me 12 people, get me 10 people in Richmond. You won't like to go hang out with, give me 10 people in Northern Virginia to go hang out with. I'll go anywhere. I'll do anything. I don't care. And I talked to some alums about, sometimes you guys just need a reason to, tell your wives like, hey, the boys are getting together. So, it doesn't take much. And so I'm all in on that.
LS, you got a question? I know you're thinking. I know your brain's working.
I don't have one right now. This has all been great. If I think of one, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Here's the other thing too, is, when you guys come into town, by all means, please stop by and see me. Like, you're not bothering me. You can come in the dugout on game day and you're not going to bother me. Because if what we're doing on game day, if winning and losing is disturbed by what happens an hour before the game, then I got bigger problems than talking to alums. So by all means, make sure that you don't come and hang out and don't say hi or introduce yourself or something like that.
Anyone got anything else? I can keep firing away, I guess.
Yeah, keep going, Triggs.
Yeah. I guess weird question kind of, but is there like a sleeper player you're excited about? You know, someone you think I guess might come out of the woodwork?
Yeah, I mean it's his dad's on the call. His dad's an alum. Jamie Laskowski is a freshman infielder on our team, and I think he's one of the best players I've probably ever coached. And so I guess sleeper from the fact that he's a freshman, but you watch him play you watch him play at all, and there's no sleeper about it. He's going to be one of our best players this year, and the only thing that bums me out is, and Mike, you can't tell him this, but the only thing that bums me out is he's probably only going to be here 3 years. So, but other than that, that would be my sleeper.
Lake Braddock alum.
Yes, that's right. Phenomenal.
Shout out Bobby Klein.
I hear this. Yeah, he's probably hit more home runs than Bobby. So
What's the number? What's he got to hit? One?
well, I don't know how many he hit in high school, but if he hits one, he'll be all right.
That's awesome.
Coach, this is Doug Powell. I played 1 year in 1987. I'm pretty sure that probably makes me the oldest guy on this call. But I've tried to support the program over the years, and I've enjoyed meeting you through this call. Just wanted to say I appreciate you taking the time to do this call. I think one a month is really great. I think that's impressive. And the every other week newsletter sounds great too. So
Awesome.
So
Well, it's nice to meet you.
So,
They might slow down if they might slow down if we make too many controversial things, and I gotta answer you guys for them.
well, I just want to say welcome, and hopefully get to meet you in person soon, and good luck on the season.
Thanks, Doug. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, hey, a quick question. You mentioned the injuries. Are they
Yeah.
season-ending injuries, or are these injuries that guys are going to come back from this year?
It's both. I mean, we've got one of the freshmen from last year that played a lot. He's out for the season, and then one of the emerging bullpen arms is out for the season. But like our two grad transfer infielders are just they'll probably be back. Actually, I think Ethan can play this weekend, and I think Owen will play next. So it's not they're not long term. No. But the guys that we did lose it's a pretty big deal. But I still think we're top heavy enough to, you know, compete the level we need to compete at. What else you got for me, Triggs? Keep them coming. I know you had a good list. They'll get their answers.
Yeah, let me think.
I got one for you, Coach, and I may have missed this on the first half of the call, but anything the alumni can do to help the program or you guys in its current state?
Yeah, I think, honestly, that's a good question. I appreciate it worded like that. I think just connecting. I think right now it's connecting. I used to joke, I was at Niagara as the head coach for 16 years, and I never once asked anybody for money. But one of the things I did do was try to connect everybody. And so, even guys that had never been contacted before, or, guys that had, wanted to be more involved and things like that. So for me, it's just about connecting the alums to the program. I think there's so many things that, one of the things that our vision is for this LinkedIn group is literally like, hey, I can tell a recruit, hey, we got this LinkedIn group, and you graduate from here, I'll get you a job. Like you'll have a job. So, I know that's a lofty goal, but there's other schools that do that. I mean, if you go to VMI, like you're getting a job, a VMI grad is going to hire you. And so that's an example of, the kind of the connection I think that would really would really benefit the program from a ubiquitous standpoint. But yeah, that right now, and I think with more connection and more fellowship and more getting to know me and the direction we're headed, and transcending like your generations, because it's pretty clear right here that there's a bunch of you guys that had success all at the same time, and you love the program dearly. Um, but there's also 15 years of guys that had a terrible experience here. And so how do we bring them back into the fold, and how do we sort of, get them to, come around? I think to me it's optimism, like you're not going to hear me talk about the problems that we have. It's all going to be focused on solutions, and the solutions start with getting people involved. The solutions start with, like, let's take, for example, a group of a group of players, like a 5-year span of players that were told that the athletic department doesn't do jack shit for them. They didn't do anything for them. So why would we bail them out by fundraising for the current team? And I say to that, like, so you want that to continue. So because that happened, you don't want to make it better for the people that come behind you. And to me, that's just not good enough, because I want to see the glass half full. And so the more people we get excited about the program, and obviously having a good team and winning gets you excited. Otherwise, you guys will be calling for somebody else to do this. But to get everybody involved and get back, get the excitement there, excuses to get together, and just, that's the biggest thing right now, because it's so disjointed, the alumni base. Um, and I think the one thing that people underestimate is when they come back, like the first pitch dinner is a good example. We had a good cross example, or sample of different years and genres or whatever. And right, Triggs, I think it was from 68 to, I don't know, 20. But and I think they came back, and they got to talk to the guys, the players, and we got the social hour, the cocktail hour, and they got to talk to them and kind of relive that and ask the kids what it was like, and mingle amongst them, and then just hear about the kids' experience and things. And that in and of itself just is exciting. Like, I think you're away from it so long that people underestimate how powerful that is. And so to get people back involved in that is a big thing. So, it's that, or, a $5 million gift. So, Sean, I think you'd start with the connecting.
Coach,
Which
what
I
about
love.
what about an alumni game, alumni weekend?
Yeah. So, the interesting thing is, I would be open to talking about that. The so I'll tell you my experience. So we always had an alumni game in the fall in Niagara, and the alums played the current team, because I liked that. Um, but if we played it in the spring, so down like here, there's homecoming and stuff. We didn't have football, so it was like homecoming here, and there's stuff going on in the fall. I'd love to have an alumni game, but it would obviously have to be alumni versus alumni. Because because we'd probably be playing, unless we did it before the season started, which who knows what the weather's going to be like here during that time. But 100% open to that. I think that's a great idea. It would just be one of those things where I would have right now, in my current state of being here 6 months, I would have to lean on you guys to kind of help guide me on how you'd want that to look. But I'm all about it. I think it's great.
So in the fall, we could have the alums square off against our squad. That's what I'm hearing. So that's fun.
Yeah, I love that. And I would always pitch my dudes, and I'd gas guys up on purpose. Yeah, I wouldn't take it easy. But I mean, you got some good alums here, man. It would be a it would be a challenge.
I texted Katz the other day. I was like, you got another year left, or we use it?
We need a yeah. Could use another infielder.
Yeah.
Don't put him at third base.
That's funny.
We tried that a few weekends.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying that right now. We've got one of those on the infield. He was Henry Jackson last year was what, first base, outfield, DH, and this year he's probably gonna play third. So third or second. He'll be at second tomorrow. So it'll be interesting. He's done a good job though. It's a little unconventional, but right, Trey, he wouldn't pass the infield test, Triggs, but he catches.
He's natural. I mean, it
Yeah.
looks a little funky, but he gets the out. So, yeah. And then I guess if anyone else has another question, cut me off. But to kind of close it out, Skip, what's the one word that comes to mind when you think of this year's team? Is it, I didn't give you a heads up on this one, so I'm putting you on the spot. But
Yeah, I don't know. That's not on the spot. The word I like, I don't know, this is gonna sound crazy, but it's fun. Like these dudes deserve to have more fun playing baseball. College baseball is literally the greatest thing on the planet. And this team, when I got here in the fall, they were miserable, and it was very eye-opening. And so I think we're to a point where they're still a little slow to warm up, I think. They still don't believe that I'm going to be like that when the games start and shit gets a fan, but I'm going to. So I think we just need to have more fun. And, they've earned it. They've worked their ass off, and this isn't like, hey, it's all sunshine and roses. Like they've held themselves to a really high standard and worked their butts off all year. And I hope that they have as much fun as possible this year.
awesome, cool.
If you guys, so before we let you go, if you guys have a pen or anything handy, I'll give you guys my cell number. If you want to text me or call me. It's if everybody's got it, it's area code 540-383-9161. Yeah, and if you guys want to reach out or text or whatever, I turn my notifications off at 10, but I'll see it in the morning.
We need to get you a 757 number there, Coach.
Yeah, I know. Well, have I called you yet? Because it pops up as Harrisonburg.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did see that.
Yeah, somebody said they didn't want to answer that. I was like, I don't blame you.
Cool. Well, we really appreciate you guys all hopping on the call, and hope you enjoyed it, and got to know Coach McCoy a little better. So we really appreciate you. So thank you guys.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And again, in the future, this is your opportunity to ask me whatever you want, or just get to know me, or talk amongst yourselves, and I'll get to know you guys and the cool stories that you have. So I think this is just the most accessible way that we can do this. But if you guys want to do this in Williamsburg, whatever, we can do that too. So thank you guys. Go Tribe.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Go Tribe.
Thanks for doing this. Thanks.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys soon. See you, Triggs.